everybody, it's Jamie. I want to do my labor and delivery video really quick. I'm sorry it's so late. A lot later than I said I would. We've been having visitors pop in and out. Then we got hit by a stomach bug. Then school, stuff with my husband's work, and just being overall just tired. It just kind of got away from me. But I'm doing it now. Baby's asleep. My daughter's down for a nap. My son's still at school. My husband's back at work. So getting it done. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this done really quick. So as y'all know, I went past my due date and set up an induction date for October 12th, and I obviously didn't have her before then. So I went in at 8:30 in the morning to get induced. I was already walking around at 5 centimeters dilated, so I was already like halfway done going in, so they didn't need to do anything like Cervidil or anything to ripen my cervix. I had a very viable cervix already, so all they did was start Pitocin. Originally, they were planning on breaking my water to start me off, but baby was too high, so they didn't want me to break my water, or them to break my water, and then have her umbilical cord come first instead of her head, which is like called an umbilical prolapse, which could be very dangerous. So they wanted to start me with Pitocin and then have her, just go through labor that way, which was kind of frustrating because I really did not want Pitocin. I didn't want drugs really at all, but for safety reasons, I understood why they didn't want to do that. So I was okay with the Pitocin. Figured I just would fight it as long as I could without pain meds. So that they officially started the Pitocin drip at 9:30 in the morning, and contractions started pretty quickly. I was actually already contracting when they put the monitor on me before the Pitocin, but they were very regular, but they were, not too far apart, and they were pretty strong, so they think I was already kind of like in the early stages of labor anyway, but I felt like I was in the early stages of labor for like a month. So who knows if I hadn't been induced that day, what would have happened. But anyway, so I labored for a few hours with Pitocin, and I felt like the contractions were coming in very quickly, like every 2-3 minutes apart, very, very quickly. Didn't take long for them to pick up that quickly. And they're very strong, but I was tolerating them. I was able to talk, and I had to stop and breathe, but like if I needed to talk, I could. Like my mom and I were playing hangman and stuff like that while I was laboring, but I'd have to stop and breathe through them. But for whatever reason, like around noon, they checked me, and I was at 6 centimeters, and for whatever reason, they thought that I was either, like, the monitor was not registering my contractions properly. Like, they were registering very strong, but they're like, you're not really reacting. Like, they called me stoic because I wasn't, like, reacting to these contractions. So they're like, I think our monitor might be, not picking them up properly, registering them too strong when they're not really that strong. We need to know accurately how strong they really are, to measure how much Pitocin we're on. At that point, we had already pretty much taken the Pitocin, like, off. We were at, like, the lowest dose of Pitocin. They were still coming in very quickly, like 1 or 2 minutes apart, and registering very strongly. I was very frustrated because I was like, I'm just tolerating them, okay? I've been working, my goal has been this for this entire pregnancy, not having pain meds, breathing through them, dealing with pain. So it was very frustrating. So at that point, they decided they wanted to put in a catheter, like internal monitor. So, which at that moment, I did not deny. I don't know why I didn't, but they put it in as they were checking me. I was still 6 centimeters dilated. And at that time, they also broke my water. And while the doctor was in there, he was like kind of holding everything back. So like he was doing something so like the umbilical cord didn't fall down or whatever. I don't know exactly what he did. But after they were done, I asked them how long I needed to have this internal monitor in for, because I was stuck in bed. Once I had that, I was stuck in bed, and they're like, that's in until baby's born, or unless it falls out. So right then and there, I started crying, because at that moment I knew this was not going to be going the way I really wanted it to go. My birth plan obviously was out the window at that moment. I was stuck in bed. I was on Pitocin. I was like, my options for pain management other than medication was dwindling very quickly. I could no longer go walk around. I couldn't go bounce on my ball. I was so very, very, very frustrated. But after that, contractions picked up really quickly. The interesting thing was that they were making a pattern after that. They were like 2 minutes apart, but they'd come double. So we'd have like 2 minutes contraction, then immediately like another contraction, then another 2-3 minutes spread, contraction, and then immediately another contraction, then another 2 minutes spread. Which was very odd. And as we were going, the nurse was like, more and more into this labor, I think we're having a OP positioning baby, which means like posterior, sunny side up, opposite where you want them to be. And the back pain got insane. Like, my contractions overall were okay. I could tolerate them. Like, front and, down in my vaginal area, I could handle it, but my back pain was excruciating. It felt like my back was getting torn apart. So that was not good. Finally around, I want to say 4 o'clock, I decided to try the nitrous oxide, gas and air for pain management before I tried anything else. Because once you try something else, you can't try gas and air. So I figured I'd try gas and air and then have the other options available to me. So my nurse brings it in, and immediately you can tell she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. She calls in 2 other nurses. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Finally, another nurse comes in. She sets it up and gives it to me, and they teach me how to use it. It was a circus. Finally, they teach me how to use it. You have to start breathing before the contraction in order for it to be effective. Then breathing through the contraction, and then you take the break, and then you breathe right before the contraction starts again. Which for me became really hard because at that time my contractions were on top of each other, on top of each other, on top of each other. So I was on the gas and air the entire time, and I felt very loopy and lightheaded, and I felt very out of control, and I did not like that feeling. And the gas and air is not supposed to take pain away, but it's supposed to make you not care. It did the opposite. Like, my filter became completely turned off. I became a lot more vocal about my pain. I became more I became less tolerant of it. And I think that not immediately, I just think that kind of was the wrong choice and snowballed, because after that, it got very dramatic very quickly. I became very loud and kind of bitchy. But then the nitrous oxide ran out, the tank became empty, and so they needed to use the second tank. Then they couldn't figure out how to change the tank, and I nearly lost my cool. None of them knew what the hell they were doing, and my mom actually video recorded this, and because that's just not okay. They need to know what they're doing. So finally, I just got fed up. I was like, don't even hook up the second tank. Just get me the epidural. Just get me the epidural. So finally, they're like, okay, we'll let the anesthesiologist know. They come back in and tell me the anesthesiologist is already seeing somebody. So we had to wait. And I was like, okay, it's fine. As I'm crying and I was trying to be understanding. But I was in a lot of pain. My back, it was just my back. My back was just horrible. And I was moaning, just I'm not going to make the noise, but I'm just low moaning through the contractions. And they're coming back to back to back at this point. And so my mom actually goes out and talks to a nurse at the. I learned this after the fact, but my mom goes out and talks to a nurse. She's like, I just wanted to make sure the anesthesiologist knows that my daughter has requested the epidural. And the nurse gave my mom a really snotty attitude. She was like, well, he's in with the patient right now, and I'm not going in there to let him know. And my mom was like, okay, well, can you be sure that the anesthesiologist gets the word that my daughter has requested epidural? I really would not like it if, he comes out, gets worried about somebody else, and completely skips my daughter. And the nurse goes, well, maybe your daughter shouldn't have waited this long. My mom, lost her cool completely. And, ugh. And then, finally, the anesthesiologist comes in, kicks my mom out. Not meanly, but he just we only allow one person in the room with her other than the nurse and him. And so my husband stayed. The anesthesiologist took his good old grand time doing it. I've done this twice. I've done epidural twice before, and none of them took this long. And I'm having contractions during it, and it was just very hard to sit still, especially since my pain was in my back. It was very hard for me to stay hunched over and still when I just wanted to straighten up and move, and it was very hard, and my anesthesiologist just got very upset with me, and that might be why it took so long. It could be all by my fault, but I asked him, I was like, are you almost done? After he gave me the numbing stuff, and I felt the pressure of the needle and stuff like that. I felt all of it. I was like, are you almost done? He was like, you don't want to rush me. I was just like, okay, just do your thing. So he finishes up, I lay down, and he does a test drip, and all seemed to be good. My mom came back in, and it was maybe, they gave me maybe 10 minutes to kind of allow me to numb up so they can give me the catheter. And I was like, I can still move my legs, I can still feel everything, don't give me the catheter right now. And they're like, well, we need to. So they gave me the catheter. I felt that, oh my God, that hurt so bad. Obviously I was not numb down there. And so then another 10 minutes later, I asked them if I could use the peanut ball in between my legs to kind of open up my pelvis because baby was still very high. And they had checked me and I was 8 to 9. So only 10 minutes after the epidural, I was 8 to 9. I probably shouldn't have even gotten the epidural. I was probably already 8 and 9 when I was getting it. But I asked for the peanut ball because they're like, it's still going to be a long time because baby's still -3 stations. She's still super high. So the peanut ball allows me to still lay down in the bed but have my pelvis open, kind of like on the bouncing ball if you're sitting up, but it opens up the pelvis so baby can lower or drop. So they gave me a peanut ball. Maybe 20 minutes later, all of a sudden it felt like a slam, it hit like a wall. And all of a sudden, I felt this insane amount of pressure. I was just pushing. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I was like, she's coming, she's coming, she's coming. And they're like, oh, we don't see anything. You're fine. Just, she was super high. She can't be possibly coming. You just are feeling pressure and wanting to push. And I was like, okay. And then the very next contraction, I'm like, holy crap. I was like, no, she's coming. Finally, I get the nurse to check me, and she's like, okay, she's right there, but, you need to wait. We need to get your doctor here, because my doctor was not on call, but he said to call him, and he's 5 minutes away, so he would just come in before I push. So they call my doctor, and they're like, he's 10 minutes out, just hold off, breathe. And my nurse is like, if you breathe like this, or something like that, I don't even know. She was like, if you breathe like this, there's no way you can push. Now I was just look at her like she was freaking crazy. I mimicked her breathing. I was like, I'm still freaking pushing. 15 minutes go by. My doctor's not here. I say, screw it. I'm pushing. I can't stop pushing. So they call in the on-call doctor, and literally 4 pushes later, she's out, sunny side up, and it was crazy. They laid her on my chest, and all seemed great, but she was having trouble crying. She got a couple little noises out, but they weren't cries. They rubbed her on my chest and tried to shake her up a little bit and get her to breathe. But they had trouble, so they had to take her away from me for a few minutes. I didn't tear, so that was good, but they they kept her away from me while they were delivering my placenta and all that stuff. I didn't get to do my delayed cord clamping like I wanted, but during that moment, it wasn't even on my mind, so I couldn't like say something because I was just like, I was watching her, concerned with her. I wasn't even aware of what was going on, like, otherwise. So it didn't even register until after that I didn't do the delayed clamping. But my husband got to cut the cord, so that was good. And then once my placenta was delivered and they kind of pushed down and kind of cleared me out a little bit more, they brought her back to me and we got to do skin to skin and breastfeed for like the first, and just do skin to skin for like the first 2 hours, which was really nice. And yeah, she was born at 7:26 on October 12th. 8 pounds, 13 ounces, and 21.5 inches long. Perfect. Lots of brown hair, and she's just amazing. And now she's 4 weeks old, which is crazy to me. She's just been she's just completed our family. I definitely think we're done with kids as of right now. But I just feel complete. And I'll show you her real quick. She's just now, looks like she's waking up. Turn off this so we can get a look at you. Hello, everybody. Hello. Oh, we're just waking up. Hello, everybody. We're all swaddled up. It's a little cold today, so we're all bundled. Let's see if we can unzip. We'll unbundle you for a second. Say hi. I'm a chunky monkey. Aww. Stretch. Wake up. Let's get you out. Alright, let's go back and sit. You need to say hi to everybody. Hello. Oh, your arm's in my shirt. We do have some baby acne going. But Kaylee had that too really badly at 4 weeks, and it went away probably about 6 weeks. We're in 3-month clothes already. I weighed her on the scale with me. Like I weighed myself first and then weighed her. And it's not really completely accurate, but from that, she's 10 pounds, give or take. Yeah. Anyway, that's about it. I can't think of anything else that happened that night. Yeah. We're ready to nurse. Yep, and we're exclusively breastfeeding still. And that seems to be going okay. She's like, look at his belly. Look at how chunky that belly is. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.